Ahoy, my friends, Ryder here, and welcome back to another Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis video. Today, I will be doing my to pull or not to pull video on the new Angeal Limit Break draw, and I know it's crazy, we just had the anniversary. Honestly, crystals are tough for everyone, and I think it's almost a guarantee that we're getting a new collaboration here in the future. I think before you guys are going in on this banner, I did just recently put out a video doing a review on all of Angeal's weapons that are already in his kit. I gave him an overall grade of an A-, but it's probably important that you guys check out that video so that you can see all the in-depth information on all of his different weapons and if this is a character that you're potentially interested in building. Today I'm going to be going into his new Limit Break draw right here, and we're going to be evaluating his new costume and his new weapon, which I think is an important addition to his kit, as probably his weakest thing in his kit is the fact that he doesn't have any sigil boosting weapons in his kit, and the fact that he kind of lacks damage. However, he is a tank, he is coming with a lot of tanky features, and so it makes sense that he's not going to really have that many damaging weapons. However, here we have a Water Arcanum costume, plus a very good starting R ability on it, on top of a very strong water weapon, which I think essentially solidifies him as a character, guys. He's going to be very, very, very strong. All right, so first things first, I want to actually just take a look at the new graphic here for his attack. That's actually really cool. I like that. Let's go back and see that one more time. It does look a tad slow. But it looks about the same speed as Aerial Frostblade, so super cool. Let's go in here. Let's try on his costume right here. Honestly, getting total young Auron vibes, guys, from like Final Fantasy X. I feel like I'm totally getting young Auron vibes right here. I like the green. This is honestly one of my favorite colors right here. We've got the boots. We've got the like gold right here on the inlay. And we've got the leather gloves right here with the red stitching. And then we've got like the bandaged arm over here with the little pauldron and the kind of like Jedi looking almost cloak. Honestly, guys, he looks cool. I thought he looked a little dweeby in the First Soldier trailer, but he looks freaking badass right here. I like this sword. And it does look like he's going to be able to go between like swords and katanas and all kinds of stuff. His kit has a bunch of different cool looking weapons. So honestly, I'm going to give this costume like a solid 9.5 out of 10. I like it a lot. I think it's really cool. All right, now that being said, before we get into the actual stuff, for those of you guys that are thinking about pulling, these are the weapons that I would choose if I was choosing only Angeal weapons for my wish list for this banner. These are the ones I would choose. In the first slot, Type 91 two-hander, okay? And this is because it has very solid, this is because it has a physical and magic attack break on it that at base 5-star, they only go mid, but at OB6, it will go mid to high. And I think that that's an important thing for him to have in his kit. So this will probably be something that I would be wishlisting up until OB6, just to give him access to this mechanic, right? You know, because characters get playtime in the game based on the mechanics that they can meet. A boss battle has certain mechanics that we have to be able to, you know, abide by. And the more mechanics that a character can access to, the more game time they are going to see, okay? So this is the first one I would choose, all right? Let's see here. Also pretty solid R abilities. Okay, the second one that I would choose is the Shinra Greatsword Model 1. This is his Earth Imperil weapon. It also comes with Veil. It does a good amount of damage, has physical attack and buff debuff extension right here, and also opens up the mechanic for him as an Earth Imperiler, right? And also one that doesn't have Earth Imperil locked behind a 50% threshold, you know, like some of the other characters out there. All right. Other than that, the third choice for me would be the Stalwart Integrity right here. Fortress Guard, physical defense is increased high to all allies, along with physical attack increased high to all allies. However, it does have a 70% threshold, but it does give 62 points in HP at OB10, plus buff debuff extension on there, so super solid. The fourth choice for me would be the Gargantuan Monolith right here, because he also has physical defense, but then also he's going to have magic defense right here, plus HP. This gives magic defense high to him while also casting Provoke and giving him a 50% heal of his healing potency right here. And last but not least, the Type 90 longsword right here. And this is basically to lock in that physical defense. So the last one gives him magic defense in the R ability. This one gives him physical defense. You can basically make him extremely tanky with this setup. It also does some decent non-elemental damage while casting Provoke and casting Regan as well. So those would be my 5 choices. Now, I didn't choose any of his elemental damage weapons because I think that the best choice for that would be his limit break draw weapon. All right, guys. Now, jumping in, let's take a closer look at this actual weapon right here. Let's actually start with the costume. All right, so the Honorable Training Garb. It's going to boost defense to all allies, which I believe is a new R ability. This is going to increase all allies' physical defense plus 5% and all allies' magic defense by 5%. So super solid. I wish this was more like 8%, but I still think that it's a very, very good costume. I like the fact that not only does he make himself tankier, but he can also make the rest of the team tankier as well. So honestly, playing the role of a tank exceedingly well so far, in my opinion. All right. And then on top of that, he gets a Water Arcanum, right? So he's going to have access to damage. He's not just going to be a character who's just going to be like a damage sponge and sit there, but not actually be able to contribute to the DPS. He's going to be able to contribute to the DPS. He's going to have different mechanics going into this. Now, he is going to be limited with certain mechanics. He can only do so much. And in a lot of cases, other characters can do those things better. However, no one is going to be as defensive as this character in the game, and he is going to do that better than anyone. All right, so honestly, costume pretty solid. Now let's look at the weapon Tranquility right here. All right, so this is actually the first time I've really taken a look at it. Physical attack 285, base 5-star. It'll deal 520% physical water damage while casting Provoke, which lasts 60 seconds, and giving him Veil, a damage shield for 5% of his max HP. All right, the R ability is basically going to be the same as so many of the other ones in the game. Physical attack all allies plus water potency right here. All right, it's going to have triangle sigil boost on it and 2 physical attack boosts as well. All right, now let's take a look at this weapon at OB6. Okay, so it's going to deal 627, or it's going to have 627 physical attack. I'm guessing at OB1 it's going to do 620% physical water damage. All right. But I will say that this is a weapon that you're probably going to want to pull through the second page on. You're going to want to get like to OB4, OB5, OB6. You know, I'm not sure. A lot of these DPS weapons, they're just not as great at like OB1. So, you know, for me, I typically will not pull for these unless I can get it decently close to OB6 to the point where I could, you know, relatively close in the future get the weapon to OB6, where it is going to deal 780% physical water damage while casting Provoke. Veil will go from 5 to 8% of max HP, and the R abilities, physical attack to all allies, 40 points, and water potency 27. So 40 points right here, cut that in half, that's 20. That's going to hit you level 3 right here. All right, and then I'm guessing at max it's 46, right? So it's not even going to bump up to the 25 right here at max. All right, so OB6 is going to be pretty solid. The water potency is at 27. We'll go to 39. All right, so super solid, very similar to Glenn's axe right here. All right, which I will go take a look at Glenn's axe here in a second. Okay, and then at OB10, it's going to deal 940% physical water damage while also casting Provoke and giving him Veil. Now, 940% has become the standard for an elemental weapon. Normally, it comes with some type of, stigma in which it will add 1.2% damage based on if you have a buff or the enemy is debuffed. Now, I'm guessing they didn't do this here because damage is not going to be Angeal's forte, right? He's also casting Provoke and Veil, so the 940% is a good place, but I will say that I don't think we're far off from these, 940% elemental weapons kind of getting power crept to the next level. So like, for example, I am short a magic lightning DPS. I could pull for Vincent, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wait till the next Magic Lightning DPS character drops. I'm pretty sure that it's going to get power crept by that point. So instead of kind of jumping on the train mid to late, I'm just going to wait until the next kind of version comes out and then jump on that. So I'm not exactly sure how long the 940% will last on these elemental weapons, but I'm guessing it's probably not too far off that they're going to get buffed up pretty soon. But all in all, I think pretty solid. Now, a lot of the weapons in Angeal's kit do provoke. So if you guys are thinking this is the weapon I need, we're gonna have to have provoke. There's a lot of weapons that he has in his kit, multiple actually, that cast provoke, multiple weapons that cast veil. So I would say that in my opinion, if you guys are looking to pull this, first of all, you're gonna want to keep in mind the fact that we do have what is very much looking like a collaboration right around the corner, probably the middle of November, right? So that is about a month away from where we are now. So roughly 20 to 30,000 crystals, depending on if you're, getting the season pass or just full free to play. And normally these anniversary collaborations are going to be super good. The Angeal is going to be very strong in the next Guild War. And then we don't know how often we're going to need a tank, right? I'm guessing it's not going to be all the freaking time because not every player is going to be able to pull for something like this. We'll start to get them more once other characters start to get provoke gear, which I would say is probably not far off. I would say probably by the next collaboration, likely in November, we will have other characters getting provoke weapons other than Angeal. Now, will they be able to do it as well as Angeal? Well, considering his entire kit, how defensive he is, all the things that he's bringing to the table, it's hard to say. So I think that, you can build Angeal as a tank without pulling for this limit break draw banner, guys. So a reason I think to pull for this is if your account is missing a strong water potency physical attack weapon, right? Now, we know that, I just beat the B29 Brutal Tower Floor with Cloud using his Maritime Sword, which is over a year old at this point. So a lot of these weapons have a very long lifespan, guys. So depending on what you have, if you already have, Cloud's Maritime Sword at OB10, you may not need this, but if you're a player that doesn't have, a strong water arcanum or a strong water physical attack, and you have the extra crystals, then maybe Angeal is a good choice for you guys. I think that if we look at this banner ends on November 4th, so it's going to end before the anniversary. So it's not like we can just wait until the anniversary to see what's coming. This is going to be something that you have to make a choice on, now or let it go into the future. So if we take a look at the different pages here, we have a 5-star or higher guaranteed on number 4 right here. We have a guaranteed weapon, 5-star or higher, guaranteed. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 guaranteed weapons by the end of the stamp card. That's OB3, right? But Angeal has basically no weapon parts or no character parts out in the game right now. You'd have to spend 6K on his 2-3K packs, and that would get you to OB4, right? So truthfully, guys, unless you absolutely need a physical water attacker, I would say that if you don't have, 60,000 crystals or higher at this point, and you don't absolutely need a physical water DPS, that this is probably a skip. A lot of his weapons in his kit already, guys, do a lot of these things that you would need from a tank. And as a tank, he doesn't really need a water arcanum. So it really just depends on your own individual accounts, where you have Glenn at, where you have Cloud at. Speaking of Glenn, let's go take a look at the, I don't know what just happened, why we just got sent back to the title page right here. All right, guys, so here we are back in the game. I got kind of kicked out there for a second. So I'm going to go to weapons, and let's take a look at Glenn's axe just to give it a solid comparison right here. All right, so here's the axe. Here it is at OB6, deals 740% physical water damage upon a single enemy. The R abilities are literally exactly the same. The sigil boost is circle instead of triangle. And if we take it to OB10, it's going to deal 900% physical water damage. So honestly, if you guys have Glenn's axe, OB6 or higher, you're not going to need Angeal. Now, if you do want to kind of build out Angeal, if you really like him as a character, that's a different story. All right, but that's more of a personal opinion. That's not really something that you guys need advice on. Here's the Maritime Sword at OB10, dealing 750%. So, like I said, I was able to beat the Blitzrad B29 Brutal Floor with this weapon using Cloud's Anniversary costume. So, essentially, a lot of the stuff in the game is clearable with older stuff. So I don't think that this weapon is going to be like make it or break it moment for DPS checks in the future. I think this is just a bonus to kind of flush out Angeal's kit a little bit more, since, like I said before, the main thing he's missing is sigil boosters and damage, right? So those are the main things he's missing. And this weapon really brings that. So I think that if you're a big fan of Angeal, if you guys have 60,000 crystals or more, like enough for roughly a stamp card, or a little bit more than that, 30, 40K to spend, right? So like I'm on the fence, right? So I have 59K plus 10K paid right now. So it's hard to say what I'm going to do. I honestly don't know what I'm going to do. I feel like I really like Angeal. I like this costume. I would like to pull for him as a character. But then at the same time, I'm thinking, dang, I don't really want to go into the anniversary where we already know, based on the data mine. If you guys don't want to hear a little bit about that, I'm going to talk about it right now. So 3, 2, 1. We have heard that, Cloud, Tifa, Aerith, Sephiroth, all potentially coming for the anniversary, right? So, or the collaboration that could potentially come in November. So it's really hard to say as of right now. But like I would say, guys, he has everything he needs in his kit to be a tank without this banner. All right. So the only reason I think to really go for this is if you really like Angeal as a character, you're really interested in building him as a character, and you have the extra crystals to still go into the anniversary for at least one of those other banners, right? But other than that, I would say that I think it's decently good to skip for most people. I would say you can start to slowly build Angeal over time based on these other weapons, and hopefully you guys get good pulls on his free tickets and stuff like that. This one's really tricky, I feel like. But yeah, I think go back to what you have for water DPS and, based on your account, and see what you want to do. If you don't have a strong water character or a water physical character, honestly, a great banner. In a lot of ways, it's going to be a great banner. Angeal brings a lot to the table. He changes up the game. Ever Crisis is officially changed from this day forth, and we will see that more and more to come, probably especially in the next Guild War. So anyways, guys, that being said, I'm going to conclude that video. I'm curious, as always, to hear your guys' thoughts on the matter, all of your guys' opinions, and whether or not you will be pulling for this banner or not. So that being said, if you guys enjoyed this video today, please don't forget to drop a like, subscribe to the channel for more Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis content. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.